Today we gather for something extraordinary, the beginning of a movement in hearing, hope, and spiritual strength. And it's my privilege to introduce the woman behind that vision. Jennifer is the founder of the Phoenix and the Passenger, a platform born from a journey of resilience and faith. She's a woman whose courage has been shaped not only by life's challenges, but also by love and the support of her family. Their presence has grounded her, uplifted her, and been a constant source of strength as she's risen from ashes. Through storytelling, music, and soul-stirring reflection, Jennifer will take us on a journey of transformation. She invites us to ourselves, not just as passengers, being carried through life, but as phoenixes, capable of rising, rebuilding, and soaring with God's help. And you can leave your questions and answers or questions to the end, and we'll have a Q&A at the end. And we would like to make it fun. And if you feel like something's really touched your heart or whatever, be sure to clap and say amen. And please welcome Jennifer.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm excited to share my story with you. As Sharon did say, I am the CEO of the Phoenix and the Passenger, but I'm also more than that. I'm a wife. I just celebrated my 30th wedding anniversary with my husband, who's here with me today. And I am a grandmother of 3 wonderful grandchildren that keep me very, very busy. I am a mother of 2 adult children who have burnt me down to my ashes, but they've also helped me rise up from those ashes at the same time. When I'm not doing my mother and wife thing, I am a writer. I love to read. I love to bake. I love to spend time with my friends and family. And I took the leap 2 years ago. I turned 50 2 years ago in October. Decided that I wanted to do something different. I'm not one to stay very idle for very long. If you know me, you know that. So I decided I was going to go to grad school. And as grad school, you start that roller coaster. The roller coaster you start up where you apply for school, you get everything all set up, and then you reach the top, you get an acceptance letter, and you start going down. You're like, okay, I've made it. I've got the acceptance letter. I'm on my way. I know what I'm going to do. And then you can go start going up that hill, and then you're like, oh, now I have to register for classes. Now I have to do the work. Now I have to get to know these professors. And the program I am in, is all online. So there's not face-to-face contact with your professors. It's all online. So you're going, and you're doing really, really well. And then I hit the part of the roller coaster where this corkscrew is. We've all seen those, right? Okay? You start turning that corkscrew a little farther, and I hit a bump in the road of school. And it just kept going and going and going like a never-ending corkscrew. Okay? My ideal corkscrew is when you're opening a bottle of wine, and this wasn't here in summer. Okay? So I'm laying in bed one night, and I cried and I cried and I cried over this. I was really torn. I really didn't know what to do. And I laid in bed, and I'm like, God, I need a sign. I need a sign. I need something that's going to, I need to know what's my plan. So I cried myself to sleep. I'm not ashamed to say that. I cried myself to sleep. And I'm in this old theater. We've all seen them, the wooden seats, the old theater, And I can hear people in back of me, and 6th row center. And the lights go down. And all of a sudden this music starts, and it was such a music that gets your attention and inspires you instantly. We've all heard those songs. We all have those songs stuck on the radio, you know, Boom, You're Empowered. And there's this image, and she's down like this. This person's down like this, crouching. And as the music goes, you see these like embers, like you hear the campfire. You know, you've all been to a campfire, you know, you hear it. And as the campfire starts up more, this lady's raising, this figure is raising more, and raising more, and raising more, and then all of a sudden she's up and there's like wings behind her. Like, came on, boom, it's me. I'm like, okay. And I couldn't tell you what I was saying, and to most of you that know me, I'm not new very much, so that's probably a surprise. It is. And I could tell you what I was wearing, but what stuck out to me most were the shoes. Shoes. Like, okay. So I wake up and I'm like, okay. I get up and there's little beads of sweat, like I've been under lights. So I get up and I get ready, and I left my, phone in the bedroom, and I'm brushing my teeth and getting ready, and then all of a sudden the first thing I see on my phone is a picture of a woman rising up from the ashes, turning into a phoenix. It's just so real, you see it, you don't really pay attention to. Sign number one. So I listen to podcasts on my way to watch my grandkids in the morning. And the title of the podcast is Listen to What God Tells You in Your Dreams. Okay, sign number two. So then, I do my prayer journal and I do my Bible verses that I write in my prayer journal that I meditate on. And there were a few that were pertinent to this story. Can't remember them right offhand. I apologize for that. I can get them if you want them because they're written down somewhere. But going through Amazon with my granddaughter, and she's 3 now. And what did I do? What did I find? I found shoes. $140. I'm like, no, less than $140 on shoes. So I kept getting these signs, and I told a couple of my friends, and I shared it with a couple of my relatives. I did tell my family this because I'm just like, they're gonna think I'm a little far out there than they already think I am. So I'm permeating this idea, and I'm doing research on it, and the more I talk about it, the more I research on it, the more it feels right. I'm having to make this decision with school, and ultimately the decision I made with school was take a break, take a year off, because it was hurting my mental health. I was sick all the time. I was crying all the time. It just wasn't worth it. It just wasn't worth it. So when I made that decision and I worked more on Phoenix, I felt calm. So another day, Tatum and I are going through Amazon, find the shoes, and they were $40. I go, okay, $40, I can spend $40. Her little finger, right now. She made my decision for me. And guess what, guys? Here's my shoes. Marilyn Monroe said, give a girl a good pair of shoes and she can conquer the world. She can conquer the world. I am here today not only to help myself with Phoenix and the pastor here to conquer the world, I'm here to help all of you find a way you can conquer your world. Now, why did I tell you? I'm not trying to tell anyone religion. I'm not trying to preach religion because that's your own separate deal with God. Your relationship with God is your relationship with God. I'm not going to interfere with that. The reason I tell you that story is because it's the origin story. And I believe credit is deserved where credit is due. So, let's get into the meat of things, ladies. You ready? What's one item or two that you will never let the batteries die out of? What is it?
Probably my
Phone.
camera.
Camera?
Phone and camera.
Your phone, camera?
My car.
Huh?
My car.
Okay, your car. But can we live without, can we remember a day where we didn't have a cell phone in our pocket?
Yeah, I think I can. I've been in the 80s.
But,
Started.
okay, but we're the older generation. I'm not calling you old.
Oh,
But we're the older generation. I remember going somewhere with the kids when they were little, and we found bottled pop. And they thought, oh man, we got new pop. Oh no, honey, it's been bottled for years, you know. Or we went to Brass Arm Middle one time and there was a phone that had a cord. And I remember one of the kids asking, what's this? It's a phone. No, it's not, because we're so used to that, right? But we don't let those batteries die. We don't let them die off our laptop, our phone, anything that has a USB cord. We make sure those are fully charged, right? Okay, what about our battery? What about us? What about our battery? What do we do? We let it run to the yellow or red zone all the time, right? So they say you can't pour from an empty cup, right? Right? You can't pour from an empty cup. Bear with me. Okay, ladies. We're never going to be able to pour from a full cup, are we? Why do you think so? Why do you think I showed you this illustration? Because I wanted to get wet? We can't pour from a full cup because we have so much going on. We're not celebrated as women. We don't celebrate ourselves. We don't take time for ourselves to celebrate ourselves, right? When's the last time you did something for yourself? Think about it. Was it a week ago? Was it a month ago? 6 months ago? And some of those holes in our cup, we can't help. I mean, we're mothers, we're friends, we're workers, we have all that stuff, wives. We have laundry that seems to grow like jack magic beans every time we turn around, right? But, excuse me, but, why are we so reluctant to say no? Why? Why are we reluctant to say no? Are we afraid someone's going to get mad? Okay. Are we afraid that we're going to let someone down? No. How many times do we say yes when we don't want to? No. Has anyone been around a 3-year-old for a long time? Okay. What word do they tell you all the time?
No.
No. They don't have any trouble with it, do they? You know? So pick up your toys. No. They don't have any trouble with it. You know? Or a teenager, middle schooler. I mean, I know some of you are moms. I know some of you have grandchildren. Do teenagers have a hard time telling you no? No, they don't. So we're going to practice, okay? I want you to go to the symphony with me, and it's 5 hours. Do you want to go? Oh, come on, a little louder than that.
No.
Okay.
No way.
My son's having a track meet, and I don't want to go by myself because I just hate track meets. I'd rather watch paint dry. Do you want to go with me?
No.
Why? Because you don't. Okay? All right. So, one more time, we're going to practice. Your husband tells you that he wants you to go and have dinner with one of his friends you absolutely cannot stand. Because he's arrogant. What do you say?
No.
No. See, you guys can say no, you guys just did it. Okay, but you're saying, oh Jen, when I'm in the real life situation, I can't do that. Sure, you can. Put yourself a mindset as a 3-year-old. They have no trouble telling you no. A middle schooler has no trouble telling you no, right? Get in the practice excuse me, of saying no to things that are not worth your time or your energy. Because ladies, you can't get that back. And some of you may be thinking and looking at me, I can't get this time back, I'm listening to this woman either, but I'm here. And I appreciate it. I really do, down in the bottom of my heart, and I'm not just saying that because you're here in front of me. I'm your hand selected to be here. So get in that practice. Okay, now you have sheets on your paper, or on your table. Now I want each of you to take a sheet of the color sheet. Okay, now we're going to have some fun here. At least I hope so. I want you to pick 3 women. They can be characters. I don't want real women. I want like characters of books or TV shows that you want to be sitting at your table. 3 women that you want at your table. You can draw a table, do chairs around it. This is for you. This is for you to take home. And hopefully all your pins work. If they don't work, let someone know and we'll get you a pin that works.
You don't have to be characters, do they? Did you say that?
I just don't want them real life people. So I don't want you to put like your sister
Or I
or
can put a person on.
Oh, it's not supposed to be real life.
Okay, but not relevant. I mean, I can put someone, okay, well, I'll just put down one, but.
3 people you want at your table.
So who cares?
We gotta make me too. That is probably worse.
You have them down? Do you want me to give you my examples to help you? Would that help? Okay, I picked 3 people. And the first person I picked was Beth Dutton from Yellowstone. Okay. The second person I picked was Lorelai Gilmore from the Gilmore Girls. And the third person I picked was Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind. Okay. Does that help any? Okay, now I'll tell you why I picked them. Okay? And the reason I picked Beth Dutton, and you all seen Yellowstone, you all know who I'm talking about. Okay, Beth Dutton is trying to think of appropriate language here, because she's a no-holds-barred kind of gal. She knows what she wants, she goes after it, and she doesn't let anyone step in her way. Okay? She's like, eat you up and spit you out kind of gal. Okay? She's awesome. Okay? And Lorelai Gilmore, does everyone know who she is from the Gilmore Girls? Okay, I picked her because she's funny and she's independent. I like those traits from her. And Scarlett O'Hara, I picked her because she's resilient. She was very resilient. So, does that help at all? Have you come up with your 3 people? Mm-hmm. Anyone want to share any of them?
Sure. I like Dolly Parton.
Okay,
I like
why?
her songs because they're meaningful in life and I can listen to them and it just always brings me happiness and she just, I don't know. You know, she just comes from a poor girl and she's not ashamed of it and, you know, that coat of any colors, I just love that her mom made for her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just love Dolly.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I picked Beth Dutton too on my list.
Why?
Because she doesn't take crap from anybody.
Who
She
did you
stands
say?
up for herself and she just rocks it.
Who was it?
That,
Oh, yes.
from Yellowstone.
Love her to the core, yeah. I picked Diana, Princess Diana,
Oh,
because she is a humanitarian and she cares for people without whatever they're going through, and it didn't really matter. And she rose from the ashes out of the crap she had to go through with her husband, so.
anyone else want to share? Okay, now I have another task for you to think of. Aren't you glad you came? I want you to think of one piece of advice each one of those women would tell you. Now you picked these 3 women for a reason. Okay? You picked them for a reason. While you're doing that, you want me to share what I think my advice would be? Okay, I think Beth Dutton would just say, no holds barred.
Right.
You be you. And if you don't know who she is, look her up. I will forewarn it, her language is very abrasive, but she's something. She's something. Lorelai Gilmore, I think she would tell me to live life the way you want to live life and have fun. Because, in the Gilmore Girls, she was a single mom. She raised Rory all on her own. She left at home when she was 16, and she ended up owning a business. I just love the show, and I'm a late Gilmore Girls person. I just finished the series about 6 months ago. And Scarlett O'Hara, I think she would tell me, I think she would say not to give up. There's always hope. Because, she was a ball. She was all the ball. She wasn't used to working. She wasn't used to doing anything. She was spoiled to the core. But if you remember, when after the war, she was working in the cotton fields. She was doing the work along that slaves did. And it wasn't probably her cup of tea. It was probably way out of her comfort zone. So I think she would say, don't be afraid to go out of your comfort zone. And I think that's what I would say too. To you guys, don't be afraid to go out of your comfort zone. Here's another thing I want you to think about. Now I want you to think about your ride or die. Who's your ride or die person? I don't want it to be your mom, because that's for another speech and another time, which I hope you'll listen to. I want you to think of your ride or die.
What is that?
Your ride or die is a person that you can call up or knock on their door at 2:00 p.m. and say, I need you. Have you ever seen that meme? I think it's Ben Affleck. You know who Ben Affleck is? He's really good friends with Matt Damon. He played in Pearl Harbor and he was married to J-Lo. And anyway, he's an actor. And there's this meme that says, I need your help. I can't tell you where we're doing, where we're going, or how we're going to do it, but I need your help. That's your ride or die. Your ride or die is someone besides your spouse, okay, that you can call and say, I need you. And they'll be like, okay, let me grab my car keys. They come in their pajamas, they come with a face mask on, they be whatever they were doing to help you. So I want you to think of who your ride or die would be. Then I want you to think of why that person is your ride or die. Why are they? And why did you pick them? And it could be more than one person. I mean, it could be 2 people. That's your ride or die. Do your ride or die people have any of the similar qualities of the 3 people that you picked that you would sit at your table? And why do you think that is? Why?
You want me to
And-
answer? I
yeah.
will, absolutely, because they all have a part of me and they reflect who I am.
They do know who you are.
Because they get you.
They get you. Yeah, they get you. What
I'll
else?
share everything with them without judgments.
That's important, isn't it, as women? We want someone that we can go to and gripe about anything. Our husbands, our kids, our coworkers, our boss, our hair not turning out the way it is, you know, it's 9 o'clock on a Wednesday and, you know, your kid hands you something, everybody that's been a mom can attest to this. Bake sale tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Okay, looks like we're going to the gas station to get donut holes or something. You know, we've all done it. We've all been through it, you know? So how do you get the qualities of the people that are at your table and your ride or die? Do you see some of their qualities in you and some of your qualities in them? Something to think about, isn't it? Because research shows, have you ever heard the term that you're the sum out of 5 of the 7 people you hang out with? I remember in middle school and elementary, and now as I'm an adult I understand it, but then I didn't. I tended to be friends with the kids that didn't have many friends, you know, I'm from a very small town, okay, so you knew who had the money, you knew who, you know, contributed to this, and you knew whose parents did what, and, you know, imagine Mayberry, USA, that's where I'm from, okay? I had a tendency to hang around with the kids that their parents they didn't have money, most of them were raised by single moms, so they didn't, you know, and I grew up very comfortable. I wouldn't say I was rich, but I was comfortable. And I had one friend that his mom worked at the bar. She was a bartender, that's how she ends meet. And not that my dad was prejudiced or judgmental, but he would say, you hang around him, people's gonna think, you know, you're the same way. How many of us heard that from our parents, you know? You're known by the company you keep, I think is what he would say. And at the time, I'm like, oh, whatever, I'm just hanging out with them because they're good, you know, they're my friends. But, gosh, if I had a quarter for every time my parents told me that, you know, I had a lot of quarters. I really would. Okay, so, how does all this go into the Phoenix and the passenger? Okay? I want you to imagine one more thing before I go into that. Okay? How would you change if you were hanging around the people that are at your table that you put there? Because you already hang around your ride or die, right? Or they would be your ride or die, right? How would you change if you hung out with Beth Dutton, Princess Diana, you know? I mean, you know, how would you change? Would you change? There'd be some qualities, maybe. I mean, I think if, for example, if I would hang out with Scarlett O'Hara, I would probably do a little more hard work than what I do. I'll admit it, you know. I don't go outside to shovel. I don't mow. I don't do any of that stuff. My husband can attest to that. You know, but if something did happen where I had to change a little bit of that. My husband just had kidney cancer surgery almost 6 weeks ago, and he couldn't do anything as far as housework and stuff like that. So I had to pick up the little bit of slack. So that was my Scarlett O'Hara moment. You know, so that's what I want you to think of. You know, what traits does your table people have that you would like to acquire or lead to? Does that make sense? Right? So, you have the power, ladies, to choose who's at your table. You have that power, no matter if you think you do or not. You have the power to choose who your tribe is. Your tribe's very important, and it doesn't have to be a huge tribe. You can be a few people. You can be, you know, and just because a person's at your table right now doesn't mean they have to stay at your table. I mean, let's say your friend has a friend, okay, you really don't like them, but they're your friend's friend, so you're gonna give them a temporary seat at the table. That doesn't mean they get a permanent seat. You can kick that person off of that table anytime you want to, without any guilt whatsoever. The only people that you need to decide on your tribe and your tables who you want there. Who's a permanent seat at your table. And sometimes, you know, people are only at your table for a season. And if they are, you think, what's your takeaway from that? What did I learn from that? You know, did I learn, did this person teach me to be a better person, or did they teach me not to be a better person? You know? Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this person during this stage of my life. I mean, how many of you are friends with people that you were friends with really in high school? That you really still talk to? I've met some of my best friends, besides my relatives, in my 40s and 50s. And I'm just 52. So maybe I'll be late 30s. You know, I don't want to sound too old, but why do you think that is? You have certain friends during different stages of your life. The friends that I met when I was 20, I may chit chat on Facebook, but if I didn't have Facebook, would I really talk to them? Would you? You make time for who you want to make time with, right? So make time, ladies, for yourself. Make time for yourself. Put yourself, you're at the head of that table. You cannot be any good to anybody else if you don't. You're going to be punching more holes in your cup. The more time you take time for yourself, those holes are going to patch up. And before you know it, you're going to have a full cup that you're going to be pouring for, not for the laundry, not for the soccer coach, not for the dance coach, not for the brother-in-law, sister-in-law, but for you. And it's okay if you're busy and you're a busy mom or a busy grandma to say, I need 5 minutes. 5. Okay? 5 minutes, do a meditation. You can do a meditation free. You know, there's I'm here to help you with that. That's what part of this Phoenix and the Passenger is. It doesn't end after today. I promise you that. So what does this have to do with the Phoenix and the Passenger? What's a Phoenix? You can tell me what a Phoenix is. What's a Phoenix? Anybody? Birds. It's a bird. What does the bird do? A phoenix is a mythical creature, if you go by definition, that rises from its own ashes after it's been burnt to the ground. Okay? I'm taking out mythical because I think we're all phoenixes. And I don't think we're a myth. A myth is something that is not true. Replace mythical with legendary. Each of us is a legendary phoenix that rises from our ashes every day. It may not be something huge every day, but you raise from it every day. The little stuff that life puts you through. You know, you get to work okay, and you're just like, there's just this one, and I know I have some teachers in the room, so I'm gonna use a student as an example, okay? You don't have enough energy for that kid today. You don't. Okay? But you rise up from it. You know, you get to work, and, oh, we only need you for 2 hours today and not 4.
What are you talking about?
I know. You know? Okay, you're rising from that ash too, aren't you? You know, and there's also some major stuff. You get sick, or someone gets, you know, is in the hospital. But we raise up from our ashes all the time. And I ask some women why, and they're like, because that's my job as a woman. No, it's not your job as a woman. Your job as a human being is to rise up from that ash. And we're all phoenixes, ladies. We're all phoenixes. We're all going to raise from those ashes, and we're going to survive, and we're going to come up stronger than ever. But Jen, there's also the passenger part of your company, yeah? There is. What's a passenger?
Right along.
A ride-along. A ride-along. And it's okay to ride along sometimes, right? As long as the driver stays awake and, you know, you're not the map keeper. Right, Sharon? I'm the map keeper. Listen, but it's not okay to stay as a passenger. And I know some people don't like change, some people hate change. I respect that. But if you don't go with the flow and start raising yourself up from those ashes that life does to you every day, it's going to be harder and harder to rise. It's going to be harder and harder to fill up this cup. No matter if you have a little cup like this, or a little cup like a big cup like this, or a little tiny shot glass. No matter what cup you want to use as a metaphor, those holes are going to come. And the holes are going to start out tiny, and they're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger until finally, guess what? Your bottom's going to fall out. And you won't have a cup to pour out of at all. Will you? We as women need to take our power back. Take our power back for ourselves. Because you know what? Someone is always looking up to you. You may not think that, but someone at your table may be looking up to you. Your ride or die, I can guarantee you your ride or die is looking up to you, because you wouldn't be their ride or die, or they would, most likely you're riding. The person that's picked you as their ride or die, you're their ride or die, right? Okay? We all have young women, young girls that are looking up to us. Think of that. Think of that. I mean, I know some of us still have kids. I know some of us are grandmothers. I know some of us are aunts. You have people looking up to you. Help them be a phoenix to raise up from their ashes when it happens. Right? Make sense? Okay. So, in conclusion, my last bits of advice for you are this. Learn to give yourself grace. Grace. And whatever that means to you, that's your definition. What it means to me, and most of you know me, and you know me well, know that I don't give myself grace. I have a hard time with that. Because I do for others. And I do put others first. Which is fine. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that if that makes you feel good. Which it should. It makes me feel really good. Or I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't have taken the leap to do this. But I need to learn to give myself grace when I'm too tired to do something. Or I just feel so burned out I don't want to do something. I mean, a perfect example is when I first started, I work at Sylvan Learning Center. And when I first started there, I was working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the only reason I didn't work Friday, they weren't open. And I did that for months and months and months. And I got so burned out, so tired, so sick, that I wasn't any good to anybody. And that's why when it came to school, when I had to make that decision with school, I had to give myself grace for that. It's okay to slow down. Remember I said that, okay? And remind you, because I'm sure some of you don't have to remind me that. But it's okay not to do that laundry that has the magic beans in the pockets. It's okay to let that sit. It's okay to say, no, I'm not providing treats for the soccer game. Or no, I don't really want to go to this or that. I just want to sit in my pajamas with hot cocoa and watch Netflix. But on the flip side of that, if people that are at your table, of course they're fictional characters, but they're still portrayed by people, that's, and give your ride or die some grace too. Because they're human, just like you. Okay? So, I want to share, and then I will be done. I have 3 women that really shaped who I am. And I wouldn't feel right not acknowledging who they are. The first one was my mom. And I have her wedding rings on me today, so she's with me today. She was pretty great. We had our problems, but we had our difficulties, but she was pretty great. My Aunt Helen, I'd say if anyone reminded me close to Beth Hutton, Dutton would be Aunt Helen, a little bit. She was very smart. She was very ambitious, but this is for her. And the cookies at the table, please eat the cookies. My Aunt Maxine, this is Sharon's mom. Sharon and my Aunt Maxine and Uncle Joe lived right down a mile down the road when I grew up, so they were my second home. But my aunt used to have these windmill milk cookies. These could be the most rotten cookies probably ever made. I don't know.
But they're missing the nuts. I don't know what happened to them. These cookies have no nuts.
Well, they don't have any nuts, but we can be picky, Sharon. But she always had these cookies for me. So this is my way of honoring my Aunt Maxine today. Each of us have women that, we think of, that helped us become who we are. I encourage you to be the best woman you can be. Rise up from those ashes like you're meant to do every day. So someone maybe one day will stand up here like I am and say, blah, blah, blah. This is why, I'm honoring her today. So who's ready to come, rise above the ashes, and come and take a seat at my table, because you're all invited. Thank you. I will take some time to answer any questions you want to answer. There is a survey, guys, I would like you to fill out. Don't put your name on it, I want it totally anonymous. And the Phoenix and the Passenger just doesn't end today, okay? This is the soft launch. This is the launch of the business. Motivational speaking and life coaching. I have 51 graduate credits out of 60 for mental health counseling. That's what I'm going to school for. I forgot to mention that. I apologize. And I will be doing something every week on Facebook and Instagram. It may be a live. It may be just a post. I encourage you to follow it. I encourage you to share it. I want to empower women. And like it says on the sheet, my mission is to empower women. So thank you all for coming. If you have any questions, I will answer them now.